Have you ever taken the time to reflect on some of your favorite actors, athletes, celebrities, maybe even people you know in your life, like friends? And have you ever noticed that many of your favorite types of people are unique? Maybe they have a unique trait such as good looks. Maybe they have a unique trait such as a personality that is unlike anybody's that you've met before. Well, when we think about it this way, we can pretty quickly come up with the answer of most certainly yes. Now, that's the topic of today's video, and something I'm curious to get your guys' feedback on. Do you think that uniqueness can lead to desirability? My thoughts on this are yes, they can. And I believe this stems from a deep seated and deep rooted human emotion of realizing and recognizing rarity. And it's unfortunate that today, and really always, but today more than ever, we feel as though we have to fit into a certain mold, be a certain way, carry ourselves in a certain manner. I mean, I see tons of YouTube videos that encourage guys to maintain what is known as masculine frame. And I do agree with a lot of these videos, and I think that there's a lot of value in being a guy, acting like a guy. But I think that a lot of our audience members, guys and gals, the same thing goes with gals, right? You have to be feminine, you have to be X, Y, and Z. And while there are certain advantages to listening to these types of videos, and I think that they're mostly advantageous, what I was alluding to was I think that audience members, myself included in the past, have blown this out of proportion and have then went and acted as though we have to act this way. Like we have to act, if we're a guy, hyper masculine, or if we're a woman, we have to act hyper feminine in order to be liked. And when enough people start to form this type of mentality, we start to like mimic each other, and we lose out on some of that uniqueness and originality that each person and each person's personality brings to the table. And I see this as tragic. And I also see this as disadvantageous in how we live our lives. One of the big reasons that I see this as disadvantageous to how we live our lives is because, like I started at the beginning of the video, rather, I asked you all if you think that uniqueness has to do and relate with desirability. My answer is yes, and feel free to disagree. But many of those sports stars, many of the actors and actresses, many of the celebrities, and many of our friends who might be our best friends or our closest friends have traits of uniqueness that might be greater than a lot of people that you'd meet in your day-to-day lives. This is something that's a little bit strange to think about, but I would highly encourage you all to ponder. Is there a correlation between the people who I favor and the amount of uniqueness and authenticity within that uniqueness that they bring to the table? And the two, authenticity and uniqueness, can stand alone, but I'd argue that if someone is authentic, they're probably unique to a certain extent, and if they're unique, they're authentic, right? So the two help to feed off each other. And that might be another key as to why we value and like people more who are unique. So, why am I asking all these questions, and why am I hypothesizing uniqueness might be resulting in someone being more desirable? Well, the reason for that is to encourage you all to not squander all of your uniqueness. Now, I think that this is also a tricky balance and is somewhere that I myself have gone in the opposite direction in the past. I've overcompensated once I realized that uniqueness is important, and so many people lose their uniqueness in trying to fit into a mold. And as a result of that, I was acting probably more unique than I needed to, or maybe a better way to put it is obnoxiously unique, where I'm like, I'm unique, I'm different than other people in your face. And I think that has its own disadvantages too. Showcasing our uniqueness can be subtle, and I would encourage you to do it in as subtle of a way as you feel comfortable doing. Now, I also don't say that to suppress your uniqueness, but I do that as an exercise to encourage you not to try to be obnoxiously unique, because that comes off as annoying. An example of being subtly unique is in your sense of humor. Maybe you find a type of joke funnier than another. And so even though group A might be, or the group that you're in might be laughing harder at the joke that is more socially accepted as being funny, you might choose to laugh harder, or you just might naturally laugh harder at the joke that is not as socially accepted as being funny. That's showcasing uniqueness right there. It doesn't have to be a huge demonstration where you're like, look at me, I'm so unique. Everybody, I'm different than you. It doesn't have to be that way, right? So, in showing our uniqueness, we can greatly boost our desirability in multiple areas of life. Getting back to the celebrity example, think of a lot of YouTubers that you tune into. They, in many ways, are unique, especially the huge, large scale YouTubers that garner huge audiences, tons of subscribers. Part of the reason for that is you might feel more connected to them because they're unique. They might be showing more of their vulnerabilities. They might be encouraging their vulnerabilities to be something to be celebrated and not hidden. And as such, we feel more connected, we tune in more, we subscribe, we like, all that stuff. So at the end of the day, it's your choice if you want to choose to be unique or to try to fit in with the mold. I would encourage some of both, right? So that we're not too far on one extreme. However, I think that concerns with being too unique are generally less common than concerns with fitting in too much. I think too many of us try to fit in too much, and we do away with some of our uniqueness, some of our natural gifts and natural personality traits that might not be common. So, are you holding yourself back by not being unique? Let me know in the comment section below, and please tune in for the next video. Thank you so much, and have a great day.